Hey guys, it's me, your girl Stasia Star. Welcome back to Stasia Star Daily, your go-to place for makeup, beauty, fashion, the level up journey, love and relationships, and anything that maintains or pertains to the modern day woman. So first things first, I want to show you guys the earrings that I have on right now. As you guys know, I own a fashion and spiritual wellness store, rebelharp.com. I sell a plethora of accessories as well as a limited edition hoodie design and spiritual tools to help you manifest the life of your desires from the inside out. I really believe that looking good on the outside really correlates with feeling good on the inside. So with Rebel Heart, which is my brainchild that I started in 2021, I create and source products that help women feel great about themselves, look stylish and fly while doing it, but also find the tools that they need to spiritually ascend, to heal some of their inner traumas, to really tap into that shadow work to manifest the life that they truly dream of. All right, so these earrings right here will be dropping on the shop very soon. I am literally in the process of editing and uploading all of the images and such. These are the concrete rose earrings in gold. They're very cute, very lightweight, very feminine. I also wanted to show you some bracelets I have. They come in a pack of 4. These are the Passion Lust red beaded bracelets. I personally wouldn't probably wear it with this outfit if I was wearing this outfit outside, but for video purposes, I wanted to show you guys this. Since this is going to be a video on feminine energy and things of that nature, I wanted to keep the passion and the fiery red very prevalent. So I have this gold block bracelet, which will also be available on the shop. So stay tuned for that. I will be posting a full product video, one with the spiritual items, but then also with the fashion accessories. So stay on the lookout for those items. I will post on not only the community board, but also I will upload the videos to my YouTube as shorts and a long form video going over the products when they are ready to buy and purchase. So thank you in advance for the support. And as always, sending you love and light and God's protection on your journey to ascension. So today's video is going to be a little bit different, but I do feel like this is a topic that needs to be spoken about. Yes, I'm all about leveling up in all aspects of your life, but I am very much into psychology, sociology, and civil rights and the dynamics of men and women in today's society. Currently, I'm in school pursuing a degree in psychology. I've always been interested in sociology, human dynamics, and why people do the things that they do. And honestly, I believe that's why I'm in the process of becoming a lawyer. So if you have social media in 2025 and really within the past few recent years, with the boom of the podcast, with everything that's going on in politics, not only in the United States, but internationally, I'm pretty sure you can see the constant battle between men and women online. It's like almost every day there is a new podcast episode, there's a new take, there's a new meme, there's new commentary about why men hate women, why women are fed up with men. And honestly, this is something that I studied my freshman year of college when I was in my 20s. I took a sociology course at which my professor and my classmates kind of predicted that this dynamic, due to just changes in society, would end up happening at some point. And honestly, I feel like this is really significant for women on their level up journey. It can be really detrimental to your self-esteem, your self-worth, and just your mental health if as a woman you constantly go online and it seems you're being attacked. But being a spiritualist and a divine feminine, I wanted to come and talk about this from a spiritual and energetic lens, because I truly believe, as well as many other people who think like me, believe that there is something bigger to this dynamic that's currently happening in society. So the topic of today's video will be the attack on the divine feminine, why women's rise is shaking the system. And me, Stasia Star, someone who's never been afraid of a bit of controversy, someone who's never been afraid to ruffle a few feathers, I know that people might have different opinions and views on this video. I ask that we respectfully keep it very kind and mature in the comments. If you are disrespectful, I will block you and remove your comment, because I do not want that type of energy on my platform. Have open, mature, adult conversation, but we do not have to be rude or berate others in the process. I'm speaking through the lens of society, psychology, as well as personal observation and experience. So, as I say in my energy readings, take what resonates and leave what does not. But if the shoe fits, you must have quit, child. So, without further ado, let's hop right into the video. Point number 1, historical oppression and spiritual roots. One of the reasons why you see this attack on the divine feminine, you see this kickback from the masculine energy, is because of the effects of oppression. I am going to be speaking through the lens of Black women because I am a Black woman, but a lot of these points will resonate with women all over the world. Black women, history's most oppressed group, long carried the burdens of racism, patriarchy, and erasure. But despite this, Black women now lead in education, entrepreneurship, spiritual healing, wellness, and community building. This is a sign of the true divine feminine rebirth and reclamation of power. Point number 2, the rise of the divine feminine. Women in 2025 and really for the past few years have been creating their community, have been building sisterhood, sharing knowledge, whether it's about wellness, fitness, how to diet, how to level up, how to heal from a breakup. We are constantly sharing information with one another. We hold one another accountable, point out when we see other women making decisions that might not be the best for their greater good. You can see this on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram with women of older ages or women of any age saying the mistakes that they made in life and how other women can protect themselves from those same decisions. Prioritize our mental health, our spiritual health, constantly working to help one another grow. This rise is not only personal, but planetary. It's a spiritual rebalancing of what can no longer be ignored. It is not a coincidence that almost out of nowhere, women collectively on the planet started to level up, started to want to level up, started to want to heal their inner child, started to tap into spirituality and shadow work and really expand their minds. It literally was an energetic shift that was meant to happen spiritually. And that brings me into point 3. Now, point 3, I'm going to be talking a little bit about astrological science. So if that's something you don't resonate with or don't believe in, I ask that you do your own research and keep it respectful. These are practices and beliefs that have been long on this planet before our millennia and also are very closely related to the beliefs and practices of Black and brown and indigenous peoples. Please do your own research and refrain from ignorance in the comments. Like I always say, just because you don't understand something doesn't mean that it's not true and doesn't mean that it's innately evil or wrong. I do not support xenophobia or the bashing of other people's spiritual or historical beliefs. With that being said, point 3, the age of Aquarius. The return of the water bearer. Many people in the spiritual community, as well as people who believe in astrophysics or people who believe in quantum physics or people who believe in astrology or study astrology, we are in the age of Aquarius. And the age of Aquarius is all about a new way of thinking and breaking down the preconceived or pre-structured notions of society. The water bearer, or the symbol of Aquarius, typically is a woman who is pouring water into a river. This represents truth, healing, and spiritual evolution. Women are the water bearers. After centuries of being denied nourishment, we filled into our own cups. We filled ourselves with wisdom, self-love, and divine power. Now we are pouring that overflow of love back into the universe and society. You can see this represented in our communities, our businesses, children, and our cultural progression. And for my people who are super religious and are kind of like, whoa, 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 what is this alien talk? Let me give you a reference from the Bible. Psalm 23.5 says, anoint my head with oil, my cup runneth over. This represents that the overflow of love is sacred. That when one pours so much love within themselves, they now have enough loving energy to give to others. And that is exactly what the divine feminine energy is doing globally. This rising vibration forces truth to the surface, disrupting systems built long time ago, disrupting the systems built on imbalance, calling both men and women into healing. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of the video. Point number 4. Why are men struggling with this shift? Many men remain trapped in patriarchal conditioning, seeking external validation through money, sex, and dominance over women. This comes at a cost, as many men trade their inner peace for external validation from other men and women. Instead of doing the work, some are trying to gaslight and bully women into the thoughts and ways of the past. They so badly want women to be back into submission, using manipulation and shame to undermine the current feminine standards. When you think about it, this is a reflection of historical tactics that were used by oppressors. This is the same energy with different packaging. For example, you can see this in slavery in the United States. Almost always when a group is oppressed or victimized, their oppressors will do anything in their power to re-subjugate them into oppression. The oppressor does not like to see the freedom of those they once tried to keep down. To take it even further, using slavery as an example, in America, the way that the oppressors tried to get Black people to subjugate themselves back into slavery is Jim Crow, redlining, the bombing of Wall Street, and all of the drama drama and chaos that happened during the civil rights movement. You can even see this in modern day society with all of the craziness of the current United States administration. Someone who studies psychology and sociology, I truly believe that society is an onion built of many complex layers. We have economics, we have classism, we have gender, and we have race, as well as many other facets. Now, if we're thinking about why men in general are having such a difficult time with the rise of the divine feminine, we have to look at the growth of the most oppressed group, which is the Black woman. Imagine the global shift in energy that is felt when the most oppressed group rises above all of the tactics to keep them down. Energetic transmutation, turning negativity into positivity, the act of the alchemist that the Black woman is causing a shift in a ripple effect throughout all women in the current global dynamics of gender. So, can you really blame men for how they feel? Not only did the most oppressed group rise no matter what they were given, but they're also excelling in the process and not backing down. You can see this displayed in women of all ethnicities working together. But if I'm going to be real, Black women coming from the bottom and rising up to the top have really caused a ripple effect to let all women know that we need to take our power back. Women are coming together collectively. The women are starting to heal. And because the women are healing energetically, it is forcing the masculine to do the same. On the planet, the masculine energy and the feminine energy is not balanced. Women have upgraded their standards. They're not dealing with disrespect. They're not dealing with abuse. They want more for themselves and their children, and they're not willing to lower these standards. After being beat down mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally for so many years, women are simply fed up. And like I said, whenever a victim escapes their oppressor, the oppressor will do anything to bring them back into control. And last but not least, for my final point, divine feminine is spiritually protected. If you haven't noticed, in popular culture, men who mock, disrespect, bully, or belittle the divine feminine on a large scale are being spiritually and socially removed. This is because it is time for the shift. The ancestors, God, the universe, whatever you subscribe to, is no longer allowing the dehumanization and disrespect of the feminine energy. The feminine energy has ascended, and the masculine must do the same to bring us back into balance, yin and yang. Honestly, I want you to think about men who have really large platforms, who spew out hate and disrespect for a woman. Quickly, their empire begins to fall. God sees all things, and God knows that when you have a platform, what you say and what you do can have a great effect on society. If you think about the show on Netflix, Adolescence, you see how the red pill toxic narrative affected the young boys in that UK school. They were so engulfed in toxic masculinity that one of them resorted to unaliving their classmate. This is something that God does not want any longer. God no longer wants the world to be stricken with famine and war and hatred and evil because the feminine have regained their power. This is not cancel culture. This is spiritual correction. And I'm going to use another reference from the Bible. Let's think about Adam and Eve. If you think about this from a biblical context, you could see why God would be so unhappy with the masculine energy as a collective. How are you disrespecting and undervaluing the very gift that God gave you? Even in your own life, ladies, I know you can see it. Men who constantly treat women badly always end up losing it all. I have never seen a man in my life or even in popular culture really advance. They live a beautiful, happy life, no matter if they have money and or success, because money does not buy happiness. I've never seen a man who constantly belittles the feminine energy truly be blessed, anointed, and happy within inside. On the contrary, the men that I have seen and that I know personally that honor their wives, their daughters, their sisters, and their mothers always are blessed with abundance, health, and success. The divine feminine has always been sacred to God, as women are the bearers of life. When a woman is pregnant, a soul is literally passed through God into her physical form. And so if that is not a direct connection to source, I do not know what is. In ancient Kemet, we have the Ankh, and the Ankh is the symbol of the masculine and feminine energy coming together. But somewhere down the line, through westernized colonization and current beliefs, that respect and love and preservation of feminine energy has been so misconstrued that it has really led the world to this very dark place. And now I'm not talking about all men, that globally men do not respect women. and have not for a very long time. And this is not a video to bash men. I love men, but this is just a response to what I constantly see on social media and in my own life with the current debate between men and women constantly. I see a lot of women really practicing self-love and trying to heal and grow, and I see a lot of men just being disrespectful and almost having a global temper tantrum about women really focusing on themselves. As stated before, as the divine feminine has risen, the masculine is being called to do the same. And in order for the masculine to rise, they must strip themselves of this need of external validation and begin to do the shadow work and healing within themselves to truly elevate. So here are a few tips for women to stay focused during this time with all of this disgusting, hateful rhetoric that you may constantly see online. Anchor your spiritual practices. Sit in the energy and the practice of prayer, meditation, journaling, or other exercises that bring you closer to your spiritual self. Disconnect from digital spaces and platforms that dishonor or belittle the divine feminine. Continue building safe sisterhoods rooted in truth and support. Remember, your standards are sacred and do not lower them for anyone. Now, I also want to give a tip to the fellas because I realize that some men watch me, and I always say that I really believe that men need to seek the counsel of other men. Just me speaking from my own point of view, but I really believe that in order for men to grow, men need to really create their own spaces of community outside of women and women platforms. Here are some tips for men that are ready to rise. Begin your shadow work. And shadow work is looking deep within to the things, traits, aspects of yourself that are kind of dark, kind of maybe even twisted, or really hinder you from being your best, most elevated self. Journal, ask questions, and reflect on your beliefs and why you feel that way. Is it something that really resonates with your soul, or is it just a reflection of what society has taught you to be? Pursue therapy, counseling, mentorship rooted in conscious community. One of the greatest things that I really feel men need is positive mentorship. So I really call on all of my elevated brothers out there to really extend a hand to some young men and just men in general in your community and really work with them to advance you guys as a collective. Uplift other men. Build brotherhood rooted in accountability, respect, understanding, and support. Last but not least, respect the divine feminine. The divine feminine is not your enemy. It is your mirror. And so now I'm going to go into an affirmation for the divine feminine energy out there. I am divinely protected, wildly powerful, and deeply aligned with the truth of who I am. As I rise and value myself, I heal generations. My cup runneth over, and I pour into the world from a place of love, high self-esteem, respect, value, and power. All right, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As stated, I know it probably will ruffle a few feathers, but it's okay. I'm a great debater. Let me know what you think about this in the comments and how you're dealing with this in modern day society. If you care about it, if you have sworn off the other gender, or if you're really trying to heal this wound that men and women seem to have in 2025. As always, sending you love and light and God's protection, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye and God bless.